Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Five on the Frontline, produced by AIHA. I'm your host, Mark Ames. Lately, it seems like everyone is talking about infrastructure, and it's easy to see why. President Biden released a $2 trillion plan, and the latest report card on America's infrastructure gives the nation a C-. Improving the nation's infrastructure grade is going to require a lot of work, construction work in particular. Construction is one of the most hazardous industries, so one of the big questions is, as we upgrade our infrastructure, how can we avoid an increase in the number of construction worker injuries, illnesses, and deaths? Here to help us with these dynamic issues is Scott Schneider. Scott is a certified industrial hygienist and an AIHA fellow who has worked on occupational safety and health issues in the labor movement for 40 years. Welcome to the show, Scott.
Thanks very much, Mark.
Scott, first question, straight to the heart. Why has it been so difficult to make significant progress in construction worker health and safety?
Well, in many ways, construction is inherently dangerous. Workers work at heights, which results in fall fatalities. They work around heavy equipment, which can cause struck by or back over incidents. They deal with high voltage electrical lines that can cause electrocutions, but all of these threats can be mitigated or addressed. The more fundamental problem is that most construction companies are small businesses, less than 10 employees, and they work on very small profit margins. So they operate under the radar too, where OSHA inspectors have a difficult time finding and inspecting jobs. For example, if you have a company come to re-roof your house, they start in the morning and they finish in the afternoon. And OSHA has no idea where the jobs are or how to find them. And most of this work is done in the residential sector, which is primarily non-union. The union sector has extensive programs to train workers in safety and health, but mostly this doesn't exist in the non-union sector. And these small companies don't have the resources or the training to ensure that the jobs are done safely.
Next question for you, Scott. As construction ramps up under President Biden's infrastructure plan, which seems likely to be enacted into law, how do we deal with the increased risks associated with bringing new workers into the construction industry?
Well, you're right. As construction ramps up, you usually see an increase in the number of injuries that occur. And a lot of this has to do with you have a lot of new people coming into the industry that don't have the skills and don't have the training to really do the job properly. And also, a lot of them are, afraid, of speaking up because they're not protected by a union. In the unionized sector, everybody has to go through an apprenticeship program, and they spend several years working during the day and attending classes at night. And they have a journey person who they shadow and who mentors them. And so safety is an integral part of every apprenticeship program. Not only do they get taught the OSHA 10 and 30-hour class, but every class includes safety and health training. In the non-union sector, that's not so much the case. And so I think we have to be really wary and on alert as to what's going to happen as construction ramps up. And we'd like to see OSHA get tougher on enforcement to make sure that these jobs are done properly.
Last question for you, Scott. How can we quickly and drastically improve construction worker health and safety?
Half of OSHA inspections are in construction. There's never going to be enough inspectors to inspect all jobs. And many of the jobs are below the radar, as I mentioned earlier. But putting out new OSHA standards does have an impact in that it creates a level playing field and higher expectations and new norms. This happened with silica. Most new tools now contain exhaust systems to reduce dust levels, and that was a direct result of the OSHA standard. The other big changes will come from changes in safety culture on job sites. That comes from top management and through supervisors. They set expectations on job sites and reinforce them with their behavior and actions. It's not enough to just tell workers that safety is important. You have to show it by rewarding workers for identifying safety and health problems and for getting them fixed, and for making that a priority, even if it means stopping the job. This requires a lot more training of supervisors and leadership skills like how to communicate effectively. And then lastly, as President Biden has said, it's important to make it easier for workers to unionize, because when workers are in a union, they're less afraid to speak up about safety problems because they know they're going to be protected from retaliation on the job. And plus they get a lot more training. And in fact, this showed up. There was a recent study done in Canada that showed that union job sites are safer because of that.
Well, Scott, I really appreciate your insights. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great seeing you.
Thanks for inviting me.
Right on, and thanks everyone for joining us. Five in the Front Line is produced by AIHA. Please subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts and on AIHA's YouTube channel so that you're the first to hear the essential insights from our guests all in 5 minutes. I'm Mark Ames, wishing you a safe and healthy day ahead.